What's up, guys? It's Tealus here. Now that I am done with class overviews for World of Warcraft Legion, I am now able to go into some different kind of videos to show you what you can expect in World of Warcraft Legion. In this video, I want to go over a portion of Legion that someone requested, and that is talking about artifact power, how it works, what do you do, and what is the most efficient way to gather artifact power. So, first, let's go ahead and pop up the screen so you can see what my artifact weapon Titan Strike looks like. So, this is your artifact weapon. To gain, I start right here with Howdy's Bond. Everyone will have a starting point, and then they will get their first one pretty much immediately as you go through your quest storyline. In your quests throughout Draenor, you will have to go around and you will get artifact power as you level up. They will come off of various rare mobs, treasure chests, all sorts of places, and you use that to build up your artifact weapon and fill in all of these slots. You can fill them all in. As you can see right here, I'm already 3-3 Focus of the Titans, Spirit Bomb 1, Mimiron's Shield Shell 3-3, Jaws of Thunder 3-3, Master Beast 1, and then I actually only have 2 of 3 of Furious Swipes. However, I have a relic slotted for it, which I will get to in a different video if I have time. But for now, just know that this is how you build up, is you just kind of build up, you know, through the tree one after another, and you build up using artifact power. So, with that being said, where is artifact power displayed? If you look in the bottom here, this is the artifact power bar. It does not replace your experience bar, but it will appear above it as you're leveling. Once you're done leveling, your experience bar goes down, and then all that is left is your artifact power bar. Now, as you can see here, I have 1570 out of 8830 for my artifact weapon for Titan Strike. If I switch to marksmanship, you will notice that it drops all the way down because I just hit that level with my, I think it's Thas'Dara. Yes, Thas'Dara, which is the Windrunner's bow. So you can see here I only have 25 artifact power out of 625. So this will change based on the artifact weapon you have equipped. So, with that being said, you now know how artifact weapons, how you build up your artifact weapon, what you can do, what are the various places to basically where you can, I guess, hope to get artifact power as you are leveling. What I do need to tell you now, though, is how you can actually apply those upgrades, because you can't just open up the window and say, okay, click here, and then that's it. You actually have to go to your class hall to be able to do that. And then secondly, I need to show you what is the most efficient way to gather artifact power in Legion and all of its sources in its entirety. I only gave you a hint of where you can expect to find artifact weapon power in Legion, so I do need to go through what is the most efficient and all of the ways for you to get artifact power. With that being said, before we get to that, let's go ahead and look at the altar. This is where you will do your upgrading for your artifact weapon. You basically will click on something and it will upgrade it from here, but you have to be at this altar to be able to do that. This is also where you're able to change your appearance for your artifact weapon. As you can see here, I can change the appearance of my weapon because I have unlocked these, and it takes several different abilities sometimes to unlock these different weapon skins and so forth, and you can work on them as you kind of go throughout the game. Some of these will take quite a long time after you've reached 110. Some of these you'll get actually as you are leveling, so it'll be kind of up to you to decide how you are going to do it. But this altar of the Eternal Hunt, and it'll be altars in all the other class order halls, is how you actually change the look of your weapon and how you actually upgrade your weapon. Yes, you've gotten the artifact power, but you do need to actually go there to upgrade the weapon. With that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at all the sources of artifact power and what is the most efficient way to actually gather them. So, with that being said, the most efficient way to get artifact weapon power is going to be definitely through doing these world quests. As you can see here, I have High Mountain Mystic's Totem. It grants 1250 artifact power. What happens is it gives you a little icon, and this icon then you will be able to consume. It's like a consumable, and it will apply it to whatever artifact weapon you have equipped. So let's say you're leveling up as a we'll use a hunter's example. Let's say you're leveling up as a beast mastery, but you're not a big fan of beast mastery. You're only leveling up because it's easier to level as beast mastery. And you really want to level up. You really want to play marksman when you reach maximum level. You can hold all of these tokens that you get throughout the game, and then at the very end you can apply them all to your weapon. It does not matter. You can do them at any time. So do know that it is something that's consumable, and it's consumable to whatever artifact weapon you have equipped currently at the time. So, with that being said, when you reach 110, that's when all the world quests will show up. I've discussed this in my endgame world quest video that I did earlier. These kind of relics are going to be your #1 source for getting artifact weapon power. Do note that it says time left, only 21 hours, so only have 21 hours until this quest disappears. So every time one appears, you're going to want to do it. Here's another one, Soldier Splendor. This is a PvP one. Grants 1500 artifact power. So you're going to want to do these every time they show up. It is going to be the most efficient way to get your artifact weapon power up as high as possible. The second most efficient way to get your artifact weapon power up is going to be class class mission, your class order hall missions. Now maybe if I'm able to in another video I will get into missions, but if not, just know that missions function very similar to the way they do in World of Warcraft, except for they've taken a lot out, so you no longer feel like it's such an upkeep to like have to go in and do like 50 million things, you know, to get your garrison in order. It's just done simply, very easily. As you can see here, I only have 5 quests available, and rarely will you ever have many quests available. But as you can see here, on the right-hand side, the reward for this is 990 artifact power, so nowhere near as much as the 1500, and it is an 8-hour quest. However, you don't have to do anything for this. You just have to say, hey, head out and go do your job, and I'll come back later for you, okay? It's basically all you have to do. So this is the second best option for getting artifact weapon power out in the world. Your third best option is going to be dungeons. You can get artifact weapon power from both dungeons and from PvP. However, dungeons, it's a 100% chance every time you do a random dungeon that you will get Adventurer's Wyndham, which grants 210 artifact weapon power. See how much less that is than actually going out in the world and, you know, grabbing those quests? This is something, yes, you can do repeatedly over and over and over again. However, in the open world, those quests are kind of time-gated. So that's why they're worth so much. But, I mean, they're worth significantly more. So it really is important for you to go out in the world and grab those quests out there that get you artifact weapon power. Some of them are really quick and easy to do. For instance, the quest that was asking for the killing of Majestic Elderhorn, super easy. I mean, that quest is done in... I mean, travel time included is done in less than like 5 minutes. So definitely it's really easy for you to go out and do those things. But in between, you know, once you've exhausted all of the quests for the time being, you can do random dungeons in its place. And this will grant 210 artifact weapon power. Now the only reason that I say that dungeons are better than player versus player is because when you do a battleground, you will get a battleground victory award, which will be either armor, weapons, artifact power, or strong box of supplies. Now I'm pretty sure the odds of a strong box of supplies is pretty low when you already have like better armor that you normally get from a battleground, and you already have your artifact weapon all the way up. But for the most part, I believe when you're still trying to level up like this, you're going to mostly be getting armor, weapons, artifact power, or probably, it's not mentioned here, but you may also get class order supplies. But it's kind of a random chance. So, whereas the dungeon is guaranteed every time, the player versus player is more of a random chance on whether or not you'll get artifact weapon power. However, I do believe that they compensate a little bit for that, and they give you a... They compensate a little bit for that, and they give you a little bit more artifact power than you would from a dungeon, because it is more of a random chance. With that being said, the only other sources of artifact power are going to be random bosses out in the world. It does not display on the map, but out in the world, just like in Warlords of Draenor, there'll be like a skull on your mini-map up here that you will see, and you'll be like, oh, it's an elite boss, and everyone will go there and try and kill the boss, and you'll get artifact weapon power trinkets off of that you can consume and raise your artifact weapon power. Also, just like in Warlords of Draenor, there are little chests out in the world that you can open, and artifact weapon will be inside those as well. However, do know that these are not really great sources and not very time efficient sources for gaining artifact power. So I don't expect people, like, when they reach 110 to be like running through with, you know, Treasure Hunter or whatever the add-on is called, I can't remember now, and trying to get all of the different treasures and the little mini bosses. I doubt it will happen. Those mini bosses only drop it once, so you can't like get the reward multiple times. It's only one time. So I don't think that's very time efficient, but there may be people that just like to explore it, and that's what they want to do. So, with that being said, there's just one major item that needs to be discussed in terms of artifact power and building up your artifact weapon. And that is the artifact research notes. So, back here, for the hunters, it's different for every class order hall. There will be someone that you get after a while as you go through your class order hall quest, and he will appear, and he will allow you to do research on your artifact weapon. It will cost class order halls, which I may get into a different video dealing with the class order hall. But just know that you get class order hall supplies through order resources through quests out here. So that's generally going to be your main source of getting class order hall resources. Going to be through that. With that being said, you can do research on your artifact weapon. It takes a full 24 hours, and each time you do research on your artifact weapon, you will be able to consume the research notes, and it will permanently boost how much the artifact weapon, the items that grant artifact weapon will grant your artifact weapon. So that was a mouthful, really confusing. Let me clarify a little bit better for you. So right now this grants 1250. If I had absolutely zero research done, I don't know how much research I've done, but if I had zero research done, this would probably only grant me around 300 artifact power. So after several days of doing this artifact weapon research and note research, now High Mountain Mystic's Totem grants me 1250. This also applies to dungeons. Adventurer's Wisdom did not originally grant 210. Think of it granting, I don't know where its starting point is, but think of its starting point being somewhere like 90 artifact power. Okay? And then you build up from there. This is essential if you want to level up your artifact power, because it starts becoming very costly. Right now it costs me 8,830 to the next trait. If you notice on my marksmanship weapon, it didn't cost anywhere near as much. I was only 650 to my next trait. And that's because it exponentially starts to get more and more difficult all the way up to level 34, and then from there it just linearly goes up from there. But it becomes much more difficult for you to get next skill. Once you reach, I think it's around like level 10 or so, that's when it starts to really rise rapidly. It's like 10 or 12 or something. But this is done basically, the artifact notes research. This is completely done with the intent of making it easier for you to level your off specs. So as you noticed with my marksmanship weapon is that I had 650 to the next level. I go out in the world and I grab that quest that gives me 1250 artifact weapon power, and I almost have like 2 levels off of that one item, because I've been doing research on my notes so that I can have an easier time getting artifact weapon power for my BM, my Beast Mastery weapon. But now it's super easy for me to get stuff for my other specs as well. I will tell you this, that if you're going to level something in Legion, it's going to be much quicker for you to level 3 specs on the same character than it is going to be to level 3 different specs on 3 different characters, because artifact research notes only are character bound. It's not account bound. So that's something that you need to take note of. I personally in Legion will be leveling up my hunter, and I will go through and I will immediately grab as many of the artifact weapon quests as I can, and then I will immediately be jumping into my off-spec characters, my other characters that I want to have at level 110 for this expansion. I will immediately jump into them and start getting them up so that they can sit at 110, and they may not be my primary focus at the time, but I will be able to continue to do artifact weapon research in the background, so that it becomes much easier for me to get their artifact weapons when I actually come around to actually working on them full time. So that is just something that I want you to take note of. that is a very important part of your artifact weapon research. So, in conclusion, I've discussed how you build up your artifact weapon. I showed you up at the altar where you can actually complete this artifact weapon upgrade. At the altar, I showed you that you can actually change the look of your weapon with the artifact, with the altar for the artifact weapon. I did not go over relics in this one. That'll be something that I can possibly go through in a later video. I discussed all of the sources in which you can get artifact weapon power, and I discussed the most efficient way for getting artifact weapon power, which is going to be doing your research notes, getting the quests done in the open world, for sure, and then you can focus on something like dungeons, or if you absolutely load dungeons, you can do BGs instead. That is going to be your best route to getting artifact weapon power for your artifact weapon in World of Warcraft Legion. There are no weapons in Legion. Everything is based off of your artifact weapon, and that is going to be your lifeline in this expansion. So, I apologize if things are a little messy in this video. I went completely unscripted and completely off of my knowledge of the game and what I've experienced here on beta. I believe by the time I get this video out here, the pre-patch for World of Warcraft Legion will have launched, I believe, today. So I hope you guys have fun with all of the new changes coming to your class. If you're having any confusion as to what happened in your class, you can look through my class videos and find out where the changes are. Otherwise, this is everything regarding artifact weapon power in World of Warcraft Legion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in the next. Tearless out.